All right. So we are going to stream today. We're going to do a YouTube live experience, our first one with my good friend Sarah. This is Sarah South back from grad school. So I've known Sarah for a lot of years. I think we met in 1996. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So Sarah and I were pals back in the good old days of grad school. We were both getting our PhD from Johns Hopkins School of Medicine back in Baltimore. And I remember that, here's what I remember about you, Sarah. Callipege.
Yes.
That was just,
very first genetic.
Yeah, was that your undergraduate research project?
Yeah.
So all I remember about it is sheep ass. That's all I remember. Beautiful buttocks.
Big butts. It's Latin for big butts.
Yes. So what was the deal? It was like deleted, and wasn't it a genomic imprinting thing? Or no?
Yeah. Wow, you remember really well. So it's a gene, and when mutated, it increases the muscle on a sheep about 30%, and it's most prominent in the butt area. So
is that the technical term?
Actually,
the butt
actually,
area.
I think technically, callipege is Latin for beautiful buttocks.
Yes, beautiful buttocks.
And then it was imprinted, which means that the trait is expressed if it comes from one parent but not the other. So you needed to inherit this mutated copy from the father, and then you'd have the big butts. But if you inherited it from the mother, you would not. And
I love
the number of patterns in imprinted genes.
I love imprinted genes. Imprinted genes is one of my favorite biological phenomena. I mean, it really is amazing. The Prader-Willi, syndrome and all of that stuff. All right. So what we're doing.
The men wanting their children to be big, and women wanting them to be smaller, so that they can actually, fit through the birth canal.
Yeah, I love it. So amazing. So we're trying out the YouTube live experience, and we're going to see how this works. So you guys that are on chat can ask Sarah all of your DNA questions. Sarah has continued to spend her life studying DNA. So she chose the specialty area of cytogenetics, which is really counting chromosomes and seeing what kind of genetic disorders are caused by big genetic changes, a whole chromosome missing or whole extra one, or a big chunk that's missed, that's moved around and put in the wrong place. And then she went from there to running a clinical cytogenetics lab at a university, and so that is where you would send the prenatal testing samples off, and Sarah would be the one at the other end of the microscope, doing a lot of the same kind of stuff we do here for cell phone repair with chromosomes. And then she was the director of a lab there, and then she went and worked for 23andMe for a while, and now she has recently moved on to Ancestry.com. So she is the go-to person for all your questions about your own genome, which is an amazing, fantastic thing. So I thought it'd be fun for chat people. Wayne Taylor says, "Hey, I like big butts." So Sarah, can you see the chat over here?
It doesn't come through in great clarity on my end.
Oh, because you're on a phone. Yes. Well, Wayne Taylor says he likes big butts. I'm pretty sure Wayne Taylor is from Australia and has been trolling my stream for a while. I did see a funny meme the other day that said something like, "Rule number 1, only trust people that like big butts because they cannot lie." I thought that was pretty funny. All right. Obesity. Any genes connected? So obesity. What do you know about that?
It's not just a single gene, so it's going to be what we call multifactorial. So it's a combination of genes in a particular environment, and of course there's a ton of research and a ton of potential money. And so if there were any kind of let's just say that the low-hanging fruit, the really easy to identify connections have already been made and have not yielded a lot. And so unfortunately, it's going to be probably a whole lot more complex interplay between genetics and environment than some of the other conditions in which it's a single gene, single outcome situation.
Alrighty, so there you go, Wayne. Wayne says, I'm an Aussie, but I'm charming. That's what he says. Yeah, so you can send Sarah your personal email and see if you want to invite her over to Australia, because Brandon says, I speak Chinese. You know, Sarah's daughter Kate, who just went to bed. I think this is amazing. So what happened with Kate in the Chinese school?
Yeah, so she's in a Mandarin immersion program. So she's in 6th grade this year, just started, but since 1st grade, in our public school has 2 teachers, one teacher that will only speak English and one teacher that will only speak Mandarin, and they swap out which topic the teacher is teaching. So on some days she has to learn math from somebody who will teach it to her in English, and some days she has to learn math from somebody who will teach it to her only in Mandarin.
That is amazing. And I really want you to come out here so that I can sit Kate down and learn. Like, there's such a huge language barrier, because all of iPhones are made in China. And so all the stuff that falls off a truck, the information, the stuff that we need to know in order to be able to fix this stuff, tools and technology that can do amazing things you really need to be able to speak Chinese, which is amazing. Like, I've got this box sitting right here, this magical blue box from China, and when you plug it in and turn it on, I have no idea. I'm just hitting buttons randomly and trying to guess at the little bit of kind of translation that's there, but it's a lot of guessing. We'd do a lot better if Kate came to work on our team. So. All right, so let's see. Are there any further advances in mitochondrial DNA, as in forensics? Oh, by the way, before we talk about mitochondrial DNA, we're here to fix Sarah's phone. So first, why don't you tell us what's up with this phone? What happened?
All right. So last March, so it's been a while.
Okay, so in March.
I was in my hot tub with the jets on, and I had the phone just on the lid of the hot tub playing music.
Mm-hmm.
And thought I'll be a very careful adult, and my phone will not fall in this hot tub.
Yeah, I do that.
And then the wind picked up, and then the wind blew the phone into the hot tub.
Whoops.
And because the jets were on, I had to go turn off the jets before I could find the phone and bring it out.
Yep.
So it was probably under for at least a minute.
Yep.
And when I pulled it out, it was still playing music. So that was impressive. So I just set it back up on the lid of the hot tub and kind of wrapped it up in the towel for a bit.
Yep. And
it never stopped playing music, and then I wasn't really sure if there was any real problem or not.
Right.
So I just sort of pretended that there was no problem.
Yes. So you didn't. So you avoided the temptation to put it in rice?
I did. I avoided the temptation to put it in rice. I also did not unscrew it all to just let it dry out. Right. So,
but
no
still,
rice, but also no removal of or taking it apart, because I don't dare.
Yeah.
So
okay. But this is a great example. I love this because this phone really doesn't have anything. I don't think it's going to have anything wrong with it. I looked at the board. It doesn't look like it's ever seen water. And here's why the rice myth is such a thing. Because if you had put it in rice and then it came out looking like this, then it would be natural to say it was saved by rice. The rice dried it out. But because you didn't put it in rice, no, man, leave it next to a hot tub on a towel, and you get the same effect as leaving it in rice. All right, so let's see. So so why is it here anyway? So you used it, and then what?
Well, so I've been using it, but every once in a while, the touch screen would not be responsive.
Okay.
And so if it got to that point, then I would need to just not like restart it, but just press the side button, where you put it to sleep. And then as soon as I woke it back up, the touchscreen would be responsive.
Okay.
That got to the point. And I didn't know if it was related to it being submerged, and it was submerged a month earlier, but I thought, okay, I'm going to send it in.
Yeah, and so with that, it's like with that history, you don't know. Are we going to open this up and it's going to be totally corroded, where the pins where the touchscreen connect are all salty, or is it going to be fine? So So let's read some chat, and I will show you what your phone looks like under the microscope. So the phone is working. You can see the common water in the backlight. That's what that sort of like inconsistency looks like. Little white spots. Little white spots. So the back of your phone, if we took a screen and we kind of dissected it. So this is an iPhone 6 screen, and the screen itself has pages, like a book, that are the actual backlight. So this is like paper. So all of this is the back of your screen. And these pages can get little water droplets dried. And then when the light shines through them, it shows up as white spots on your screen. So that's what's up with your screen. So Sharon disassembled this for us, though, so it doesn't have any screws in it. And we obviously have to get this fixed before Sharon leaves so that I don't have to put it back together. Right, Sharon?
Oh my gosh.
She's like, oh my gosh. Okay, so we'll look at your phone under the microscope and see what's going on here with chat. So let's see if I can. My microscope cam, I think I need to promote up a little bit. Let's see, so that we can see it. What happens if I do this? Let's promote it down a little bit. Let me get rid of this thing. All right, so we'll just move it up here, and let's get rid of this. And that's good enough. Okay, so let me show you first what a typical water damage board looks like so that you can compare and contrast. All right, so here's one here. This guy was not so fortunate. So this is a phone here. Also, well, this is a 6S, very similar though, but let's look and see what does water damage look like in general. And I need a pair of tweezers in order to be able to see. All right, so this is typical water damage in a phone that has never been cleaned. So this would have been the same kind of thing where this guy just happened to be unlucky and water got on his board. It didn't just like kind of get stopped at the screen. It actually hit the logic board. So if we were to desolder this shield underneath here, it would be all corroded. And see how we don't have to worry about things like patient identification? Hey, 25382, you're up next. And then back here like this, that's what water damage looks like. So that, that's all pretty. Now a phone can look like that and it can still work. Just if you were to put this phone in rice, it would get dry and it might still work for a while. But it's not something that you'd want to, you wouldn't want the fate of the free world to depend on this thing running indefinitely. Now under this sticker shield, this phone looks fairly normal under here in that section. So that all looks normal, and that was water never got under there. So that all looks normal. So this is bad, and that is normal. All right, so let's pay attention to chat, and then we'll look at your phone. So let's scroll back up here. It might be too hard for you to see. Sarah, if you have on your computer there, I know you're on your phone. If you want to, on your computer, you can go to the iPad Rehab YouTube channel, and then you'll be able to see chat like on your computer there, because that'll be that live chat will be the same as what we're looking at over here. All right. So I'll just read some chat. A whole bunch of.
Where do I put it? YouTube.
Go to Google iPad Rehab YouTube, and then from there you should see. Like click the channel, and then you should see like the top video, it should say live, and then if you click it, you should see a chat window. All right, so a whole bunch of people say hi, Sarah, and some Chinese characters that we can understand. All right, with this being a gene thing, kind of out of my realm. That's everybody's got genes, man. Genes are relevant to everyone. Hey Jessa, lots of love and admiration. Learning lots from you. Keep it up. Yes, we're gonna learn about genetics. Let's see. Any further advances in mitochondrial DNA, as in forensics? So do you do anything with mitochondrial DNA?
Just a little bit. So let me, for people who don't know what this is, the mitochondria are a little, we call them organelle. It's a little, like, think of it as you have your cell, and then there are things inside the cell. Little compartments within the side of the cell that are responsible for different. Mitochondria is responsible for generating the energy that the cell requires. Mitochondria are weird, though, in that it's another source of DNA. And so mitochondria have their own DNA that they bring with them in addition to the DNA that is in the nucleus of the cell. And mitochondria are in only come from your mother. So think back to, if you remember in, like basic biology, reproduction, so the dad contributes through sperm, the mom contributes through an egg. The sperm only is delivering nuclear DNA, and then the egg delivers both nuclear DNA and all of the other parts of the cell, all of the organelles of the cell, including the mitochondria. So the mitochondria DNA is only inherited from your mother. And since Ancestry is a company that is about identifying your ethnic origins and your family connections, it can use mitochondrial DNA to trace your maternal line. But to be fair, you also get half of your nuclear DNA from your mom. Use your mitochondria to trace your maternal line. We can use a bunch of your nuclear DNA to trace both your maternal line and your paternal line.
Yeah. Mitochondrial DNA is awesome. Mitochondria are cool because each of us only have mitochondria from mom, by definition. And she only has mitochondria from her mom. All right. Had a homicide 2 years ago, says this is Wayne again, has had a homicide 2 years ago, conviction on sweat on shoe, but the labs worldwide scarce and took forever. Speed is speeding up in the works. You committed a homicide, Wayne? Wayne, here's a follow-up question. Are you a detective? What's up, Wayne? Tell us. Sweat on shoe. So, Sarah, how hard would it be to get a mitochondrial genotype off of a drop of sweat from a shoe?
They probably weren't going after the mitochondria. So, as I mentioned, there's a ton of nuclear DNA, and it's almost better in many ways to use the nuclear DNA than anything just restricted to mitochondria. So, can you get DNA from sweat? You can get DNA from any biological specimen that has cells in it.
A cell.
So,
you gotta have a cell.
Yep. So, for example, at Ancestry, we collect your spit, and there's enough cells on the lining of your cheek fluffing off into your spit that we get a ton of DNA from your spit. So yeah, we can get some DNA from sweat.
Wow, that would be like, seriously.
Why did it lab forever? Part of it is that these laboratories that specialize in forensics have to undergo a lot of regulation, which is a good thing because you want to be able to trust the results.
Yeah.
But a lot of regulation also can slow things down. So.
How long would it take you to be able to produce a genotype from a drop of sweat off a shoe?
That would be hard.
It would take me forever.
You would get very little DNA.
Yeah.
The thing is, you'd also find other DNA.
Yeah.
So.
What would you do? Like, what would that look like?
So I've got. Well, probably what you're going to do is you're going to collect a lot of different sources of DNA from the shoe.
Uh-huh.
you're going to have some sample, and you're going to say, does any of the DNA on this shoe DNA of this other sample? And so even though there's multiple sources of DNA on that shoe, probably including like dog feces and other things that shoe walks through.
Wow.
You get enough DNA to be able to say, is any of the DNA on this shoe a match to this other sample?
Okay. Sounds reasonable. So what technique would you use like these days? Like what would that, how would you do that? Is that what new genome sequencing is?
Yeah, so you don't have to look at the entire DNA. So markers, we're going to call them markers. They're just different parts of your DNA where there's a lot of variation between people. So it's not going to be the genes that are responsible for something super important that you don't want to mess with, you don't want to have too much variation with, because like the genes that are responsible for how your heart works, you don't want there to be a lot of variation in those genes, because then they don't work very well.
Got an important job.
But you have other parts of your DNA that are kind of like less critically important, that they stay a certain way, and so there can be a lot more variation between people. And we can focus on these variable pieces of DNA as a way to almost do like a DNA fingerprint to that person. And so we can, again, if we're trying to do something forensic, we can just focus on the highly variable DNA. If we look at enough of these markers, then we will have a unique pattern for each person. And we don't have to sequence all of the DNA, we just need to look at these variable regions. Fast and cheap.
All right.
We don't need a whole lot of DNA to do it.
So Wayne says, yep, we eliminated every other, and the suspect was already in our V system, which I guess just means system. All right, let's get this phone fixed. So here's your phone. So let's look at it, and we're looking for signs of water, and we can see. Wayne says it was actually on a flip-flop. So we're looking for signs of water. We can see some water like right here on the very edge of the board, and we're just gonna clean that off with a little bit of alcohol. So that's pretty minor. Here at your power volume connectors, those look totally normal. This looks totally normal. Your water damage sticker is red, but that doesn't mean anything. And then there is one spot of water. Look at how each one of these Legos has two shiny ends. Like this one has shiny, shiny. Next one, shiny, shiny. All these guys have shiny, shiny. And look at that one. It's shiny and then dull. And I already instinctively put some alcohol on it. So that is a tiny speck of water damage on that guy, but that's probably pretty minor. So that would have been just almost just humidity on this board. All right, then we'll look at these connectors. So here is your camera connector up here. There's a little bit of green in here that looks to me like a soap or something, like a substance, but that's incredibly minor. Now here's your digitizer connectors. This is where your touch screen actually connects and talks to the board. So this is where we're really looking to see whether or not at board level is there any kind of corrosion on this connector or any pins, and there's not. So this really never saw water. Water did not get all the way here. This is your LCD where the screen itself, the image and the backlight connect, and all of these connectors look really good. Even in boards that have pretty minor water damage, they look a whole lot worse than this. So I would say, in my experience, that this board, it did not get a drop of water, did not make it down to actually touch the board. And then we'll flip back over here. This guy is a very common hot spot that always gets damaged, and he looks absolutely beautiful. So that kind of continues to tell us that water didn't hit this board. Let's look down here. No water, no signs of water, no signs of water here, no signs of water there. Where'd you get this phone? You got this, to me looks like it was a refurb, meaning that you bought it at a carrier store?
from a Verizon
Yes.
store. It should have been refurbished.
Well, it looks like just see how there's a piece of tape, and see how that tape is uneven? Look at this border. See how that is not even?
Yeah.
That is not how they generally come. Here, let me grab one that is native. Here's a native looking board. Look at this border, that edge, that sticker. See how that's all perfectly factory straight? This one, this sticker on your board has been put on by a person, not a machine. See how it's hanging off over there? And this side, it looks like a little kid put it on here. Little kid from China, working hard. And you can see that under it is a red, like a Sharpie marker under there.
Yep.
So this means that this board had, in my opinion, and I can't prove this is just my opinion, that when I see boards like this, that it generally means that it had another life, that then maybe it had some defect or something like that, and it kind of got thrown into a pile, but then it was deemed good, and then it goes on to make it into a phone. So those are the kinds of phones that you get from places that are not necessarily the Apple store. Same thing here. See how there's blue marker under there? So that is not something that you generally see on boards that are absolutely brand new. But that's okay. It doesn't really make a difference. It's just an observation. All right, so then here's where we really want to look. I already peeled this sticker up a second ago to take a peek, and we'll peel it up again to look under here. And there's no sign of water damage here. This is the important part here. This chip is the brain of the touch system. So this guy and this guy, silver guy and black guy, those guys control and manage. They're sort of like a little processor for anything related to touch. So they're going to tell the CPU, hey, Sarah just typed the letter O, make an O on the screen. So that's all of the touch circuit. And we can see that there's no signs of water on those at all. Now, where does that leave us as far as solving the original problem? Two choices. One is that the reason why you're having sporadic touch is because of the screen itself. And if we look at the screen, even at the connectors, I don't think they ever saw water. So when we look at the screen side, these connectors look great. So I don't think that there was any kind of connector connection water damage thing going on. But we know just from, kind of the physical appearance of the screen, we know that it definitely got water in the screen itself. So that kind of gives us two options. One is that the reason why you're having sporadic touch issues is a parts issue, that this screen is the digitizer of the screen itself just kind of isn't up to snuff anymore because it saw water. And then the other option is that there happens to be a kind of classic problem, 90% for iPhone 6 Plus, and this is a 6, where that black Touch IC chip that we just looked at in the 6 Plus, and very, very less commonly in the 6. But this guy here, if this was a 6 Plus, I would say odds are that you actually have a defect under the chip. But since this is a 6, I think that given the damage to the actual screen, that I would have to go with this is a parts problem as more likely than there's actually damage at the just sort of from normal use bend. This chip just doesn't have a really strong connection to the board. That's a pretty well-known, well-described factory defect. In fact, I've got a call with the folks that are pursuing a class action suit to see what we're gonna do with that. Let's see what chat would do. Hey, chat guys at Fix Phones, do you think that intermittent touch defect that's resolved with lock unlock, who votes for it's the screen and who votes for it's the Mason chip? Let's hear what you guys think, and then we'll decide what we're gonna do to fix this phone. Hey, it looks like we are working on Twitch, because I see this. All right, so let's see. Sarah, whole life about changes, are they genetically linked? Sarah, whole life about changes, are they genetically linked? Gotta give us some more words, Holmes. We can't understand that. All right. By the way, this is Wayne says, by the way, a long time member, Ancestry.com, traced whole family lineage. Next will be DNA from Dad sent off to see his and our family history. All right. Paul Daniels is talking about an unrelated repair. God damn it, Paul Daniels, I'm going to smack you. For instance, say a woman I know, this is Wayne, Sarah, for instance, say a woman I know abandoned her PhD to fix iPhones and stream to bums on YouTube. Is that genetically linked?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, it is. So this is a live repair experience. Yes, this is a live repair experience, Paul Daniels, where you're required to talk about Sarah's, anything you want to talk about, Sarah, any question you have about genetics or CRISPR or genotyping or what kinds of things are genetic and not, or any kind of weird biology shit that you've ever heard of. So if you're just joining us here late, Sarah is an old friend from grad school, and she has not given up her career to fix phones all day. She has continued to look under microscopes at chromosomes, and then goes on to stare at patterns of DNA sequence and understand what genes can tell us. So she's here to answer those questions, and you can talk about her wet iPhone 6, which we're trying to fix. All right. Action that class, says Pete. Yes. Oh my God. Wayne has a bad habit of popping up on my channel and suggesting that all repairs involve exchanges of Bud Light. No, that's not happening. All right, we got one vote for screen, and we got one vote for Mason chip, and we got another vote for totally screen. And then Paul Daniel says, let's go Mason, because we want to see you do fiddly work. Another vote for screen, another vote for Mason, another vote for screen, another vote for Mason, but screen is easier to test. Do both belt and braces. Joe Ham says a screen is easy to rule out. Then Mason if it's still an issue, especially if you see gray bars coming down. Yeah, Joe Ham knows what's what. All right, unrelated repair cursing. That's right. Another vote for Mason. Another vote for it's Mason. Apple is known to remote damage their iPhones to try to make more money in repairs. I don't think so. Paul Daniel says CRISPR is always good to talk about. Can you see balls under the chip? All right, that's a good question. So Alejandro wants to know, can we see balls? There's absolutely no evidence of water under this shield at all, but let's see. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get a line on balls on the 6. So we're trying to look under this chip to see he's asking if there's going to be any sort of signs of anything odd at the way the chip is attached to the board. Yeah, I mean, it's very, very difficult to see, but no, it all looks pretty normal. All right, somebody's asking unrelated cell phone repair questions. Fail. Soldering under the black chip, can they be seen in the microscope? Nope. Another guy says screen, absolutely. Brandon says the only reason I think Mason would fail on this phone is if it was bent or water damaged. Wayne says the screen was built by a genetically engineered Chinese worker. And a guy named GCorm76 says I vote for paperweight. All right. Well, so Sarah, I'm in New York and Sarah lives in Utah. So why not do both? Let's go ahead and change the Mason chip just to rule that out. So we're going to give Sarah a new Mason chip. Plus it's fun to microsolder, and she'll be able to see what we do. All right, so we're going to take this chip off and replace it, and then we'll give you a new screen, and then it'll be all ready to go. All right, so let's do that, and let's see who's still over there. Sharon, are you still there?
Nope.
All right, one of you guys back there ask me an interesting genetic question. Come on.
Any interesting genetic?
Any interesting genetic question? What do you mean, geez?
Oh, that's weird one to spring on me.
It's not weird to spring on you. Come on, you're like constantly obsessed with diseases and shit.
I know. I have so many. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my god. All right.
Genetically.
What are you interested in about like how cells work?
Oh, jeez.
All right, I'm
How
starting.
I did not get a disease? Another disease?
How to not get a disease. I don't think that's really a thing. Fail.
Not a thing. Preventative healthcare. Preventative.
Come on, Christy.
Isn't it
You're
the
always
point
good
of
for a
these
question.
studies to stop other people from getting more diseases?
What?
Isn't that the whole point of doing this? Is to like be
Yes.
able to identify the diseases and stop them?
Yes.
Okay, so then tell me how to do that so I don't.
How to identify diseases and stop them.
If I'm genetically predisposed to a neurological condition, what's the point of doing all this research unless you're going to start altering fetuses or embryos or whatever?
Well, that's not a bad question.
Okay, I'll take this.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll take off Mason while you
Okay.
talk about eugenics.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Good.
there, so again, you're right. There are some genetic conditions in which knowing that it was genetic, it's just information. At this point, indicative of what we can do to solve it, but there are certain examples that it can lead to another outcome. So, for example, let me give some more examples, and that will help.
Okay.
Probably most of you have heard about Angelina Jolie knowing that her mother died of breast cancer, and then having herself genetically tested, realizing that she had the same mutation in BRCA that her mom had, and then therefore had at least an 80% chance of developing breast cancer, and so had a prophylactic mastectomy. So there's an example of where having a genetic diagnosis before you have a condition, a therapeutic decision, that will prevent it. Other examples that I could think of, knowing that you have a genetic predisposition for certain types of cardiac defects, where before you actually have the event that you're at high risk for, you have a pacemaker implanted.
Mm-hmm.
So there are certain examples like that where you do something preventative. I could think of is a particular rare condition called phenylketonuria, where if the genetic mutation rules can't metabolize phenylalanine, which is an amino acid.
Which is an important component in Diet Coke. Poor PKU people. Did you know that?
Yeah.
NutraSweet, I think that isn't Diet Coke. Aspartame. Yeah, aspartame is.
Aspartame has
It's like.
phenylalanine in it.
Yeah, it's like a 2 amino acid dude. One of them is phenylalanine. What a rip! I've always felt horrible guilt for the poor PKU kids that can't drink Diet Coke.
I was going to say all of the other protein that they can't have is probably worse than the Diet Coke.
Nope, the Diet Coke is definitely the worst.
But this is sort of a success story where recognized that the genetic mutation was due to a defect in this enzyme that's responsible for metabolizing this protein, hypothesized that if you never had this protein in your diet, then it wouldn't matter that you couldn't metabolize it, And so the way to prevent the
problem of the disease.
Actually, I should mention that when you're born and you can't metabolize phenylalanine, you're okay for a little while. But the precursor that builds up over time will result in intellectual disability. So if you can recognize the child can't metabolize phenylalanine out of the diet, they'll never have the precursor to disability when they're older. And so there's an example of understanding the genetics then led to a hypothesis about a therapy, really, if you stay on the diet, 100% effective. So different examples of, yes, there are certain situations where we understand the genetics and it hasn't resulted in anything other than us just understanding the genetics, which understanding the genetics allows you to identify people before they're symptomatic that could do something to prevent the condition. And another example of where understanding the genetics actually leads to therapy, like taking a particular.
Well, what do you think's going to happen with all of the gene editing stuff, therapeutically?
That's kind of, and we have not yet, as a society, I think, determined if we're ready to have humans and individuals, what we call their germline, the DNA that they pass on for generations. So, for example, if you want to change something about you, change dyes with you, okay with that. So we've certainly done some gene therapy that works on the individual level. But we have yet really to agree that we will make a change that we will purposely be making a change to DNA in every
that we will be playing God.
And go to their children and their children and their children, because now we've made a change that
wasn't selected by nature.
Yeah, but nature does it all the time, right? Nature makes changes to our DNA all the time.
Yes. But it's random shit.
So I think.
So what do you think? Would you?
My question is, would she do it if she was involved in a project? Would she wipe out? And I don't know how having an extra chromosome obviously is the same, but if there's a genetic disease, okay, say Prager-Willi, something like that. If you could eliminate it, would you do it? Would you be involved in a project that would eliminate?
Would you, Sarah South, sign up with a team that, let's say, was in another country with private funding, that was going to try to use genome editing to edit out, would you try to edit out the triplet repeat expansion in Huntington's disease in order to prevent that disease in a child that would then grow up to not have that disease? Would you sign up and be on that team?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Me too, absolutely.
Think that. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I understand the concern about not knowing what we don't know. I mean, I think that's what sort of the question that comes up is, are we sure when we edit the genome that we don't introduce other alterations? Right. But there's always risk.
I think that the thing that seems scary about that is really like in the general public, a lack of understanding of how common DNA mutation is. Like the word mutation seems like, ooh, a mutant. It's so weird and scary. But the reality is that every single day walking around in the sun and doing the absolute most dangerous thing that there is possibly to ever do in your whole life, breathe oxygen. Oh God, I just got another 10 mutations. Oh my God. That the fantastic DNA repair system is dealing with hundreds of thousands of mutations. All the time.
And you're born with a bunch. We're all born with mutations. It's just that we get for, in the simplest terms, we get 2 copies of every gene, one from our mom and one from our dad. And in the vast majority of cases, we only need one of those 2 copies to function. And so if we mutate the other copy,
the other copy is
so
the party copy.
Yeah, so
do whatever you
we
want.
are all born with thousands of mutations.
Right.
It's just that there are some genes in which they need both copies to work. And so although you're born with thousands of mutations, you have thousands and thousands of genes. And so anyways, it's sort of an odds game. With mutations, and then you acquire mutations in some cells but not others, and are those the cells that are
All right, so let's go back and see what chat has to say about that. For as much as electronics like this are complex, I still find it amazing that people can create machines and processes like CRISPR. It just genuinely makes me smile with amazement, says Paul Daniels, also in Australia. Do they know how many diseases can be screened by looking at a genome? Yeah, what's the answer to that? Like, how many diseases could you say, give me all of them. I want the whole full Monty. Tell me everything you could possibly screen for.
Okay, so we have about 20,000 genes.
Wait, we lost 10,000 genes since the last time I paid attention? What?
Yeah.
Damn it!
Well, and again, there's arguments about, do we call pseudogenes genes? Do we call genes? Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, but let's say that we have 1,000 genes. And then we can tie about of those genes to medical conditions.
About how many?
About 5,000.
5,000 genes. We know that if X is fucked up, Y happens.
Or at least we have some reason to believe it.
Okay.
So some we're sure of, and some are just a little bit more suggestive association. But
Right.
let's say that we have about 5,000 that we can tie a medical condition to.
All right.
With some degree of certainty.
It's a lot.
And so And so if you were trying to look at somebody and think, okay, I'm going to try to screen you for, quote, then there would be about 5,000 that you would look at. The trick is knowing if a change to the sequence of that gene is really going to make that gene not function.
Yes.
So again, it comes back to the idea that there's a certain expectation for what the sequence of a gene should be, but then there's also allowed variation. There's variation that happens between 2 individuals that doesn't change the function of that gene.
Right, so brown hair and blonde hair is going to be 2 different gene sequences, but they both make hair and doesn't really affect anything.
Yes. Yes. Or it could be that, it's 2 different sequences and you can't find a thing different about how the gene works.
Right.
So we call them that there can be benign changes to a gene, and then there can be pathogenic changes to a gene. And that is where it gets a lot harder, is knowing when you see a change, is it a benign change or a pathogenic change?
Yes. All right.
And then each gene itself is like 5,000, we call nucleotides, 5,000 base pairs long. That's an average size. And so if you've got 5,000 genes, and each of those has about 5,000 nucleotides, and each of those nucleotides can be changed, you have almost and then each of those can be changed, but then you could also have iterations of deletions of some of those sequences. There's almost like an infinite number of different possible mutations. So I think we're in the early phases of really being able to ask really broad questions, like, if you look at my DNA, am I likely to have a disease? That's such a broad question. And we're just in our infancy of really understanding all of the changes that are pathogenic versus all of the changes that are benign.
All right, that's a good explanation.
Specific question, like, my mom died of breast cancer and she had a mutation in BRCA. Do I have the same mutation in BRCA that my mom had? that's a really easy question to answer. We can sequence and we can say yes or no because you've asked a very specific question.
All right, more evidence that your problem was the screen is this giant rusty screw and that rusty screw. How has your ear speaker been working? Like, hello, your ear speaker, has that been working? What? My eyes look
say that I'm coming through, but it's hard to sometimes know if that's
service,
phone,
right?
Or if that's the sensor. But,
right.
Yeah.
How about your front camera, your selfie camera? You don't take. You've been taking a lot of selfies?
Yeah, no.
I don't know. Maybe it's fine.
But a few times that I've tried, I've not noticed the problem.
Okay, all right, because this, that's what's under this. See it in between that screw and that screw. So water entered your phone probably in your ear speaker. Right there, because that can just. In the hot tub, went in there and it probably kind of got in here, which is really, kind of evidence that this is almost certainly just a screen problem, because that's what the damage is telling us. But so now I've changed your Mason chip, so we desoldered that, resoldered on a new one, so that one's going to cool down, and we're going to go ahead and transfer all of the stuff from old screen to new screen and see what these guys are saying. Mario says, hi there, epigenetics. My question is, are we humans already changing? Well, we've already been changing. We've changed quite a bit since the bonobo days. I prefer to think of us as being really the primogenitor being the bonobo rather than the chimpanzee. What do you think, Sarah? Don't you kind of want to be from bonobo stock?
You are beyond what I'm following right now.
Do you remember when I say bonobo, what do you think of? Anything or total blank?
I think, is she trying to say de novo?
No, the monkeys that fuck all the bonobos, monkeys that constantly fuck.
No, I don't know.
All right, you gotta go. All right, we're going on a tangent. Everybody needs to. I was trying to tell Lewis about bonobos the other day because I think they're just the most amazing thing. Everyone should know about bonobos. All right, so let's go on. Let's see if we can go. Let's see. Let's go here, and we're gonna go here, and we are going to bring along all of our friends here. Hopefully this will work. Yay! All right, so now what they can see is this. Hopefully Sarah can still see this. And we are going to say, Google, tell me about bonobo pants. Walmart, what? No, bonobo chimpanzee. Fine. Bonobo monkey. That's fine. All right, here we go. Oh, here we go. See? BBC. Do bonobos really spend all their time having sex? Answer, yes. All right, let's click on that one. That one sounds the most interesting for sure. All right, here we go. Do bonobos really spend all their time having sex? These apes have supposedly inordinate amounts of sex. True, and they never fight. Can this appealing story really be true? These guys are, let's see, their appearance is not the thing that sets them apart from chimpanzees. So they are, it seems like there was a speciation event along the Congo, I think, that divided these guys from the rest of chimpanzees, that then chimpanzees went on to kind of become people. But so these guys were kind of the primogenitor, I think maybe. So let's see. Here we go. Lots of unusual sexual behavior. Genitogenital rubbing, for instance, usually began with a female A approaching and staring into the face of female B. Hey, baby, you want to fuck? The pair would then embrace and begin to rub each other's genitals together, probably clitoris, rhythmically and rapidly, he wrote in 1980 in Journal of Evolution. 20 seconds and sometimes for over a minute. It goes on and on and on. And so these guys They do all sorts of ththings, like they'll hang from trees. They have all kinds of sex. Guys and girls, girls and girls, guys and guys. Two dude bonobos will hang upside down from a tree and like play some kind of like dick shaft game, smacking each other. I mean, this is the funniest shit that there is. Yeah, here we go. Bonobo. Let's just go to Wikipedia. Blah 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 blah. Nobody cares. Let's go to behavior. Here we go, behavior. Now here's the thing. Bonobo society, they are a gynecocracy, whatever that means. So a matriarchal society where the female bonobos kind of rule the roost. And instead of fighting, they just constantly have sex. So when they like meet each other, like, hey, FedEx guy, let's just have a quickie. Thanks for delivering my package.
Almost what happens here.
It's almost what happens here. What? Well, kind of. All right, but they have no stress and they don't fight because they are constantly fucking. Sexual activity, major role, being used what some scientists perceive as a greeting, a means of forming social bonds, a means of conflict resolution. Like, I'm really pissed, you hurt my feelings, but let's just fuck and it'll be fine. Okay, post-conflict reconciliation, tongue kissing, oral sex. Yes, bonobos and humans are the only primates to engage in face-to-face genital sex. All right, so that will be the end of. Well, let's go back to here. All right, so now we're all educated with bonobo biology. So there we go with that. So this was all in response to the question of are we changing? Well, yeah, like we've always been changing. I don't know if we're, what do you think about the rate of genetic change now? I mean, I think the thing that's hard is that I don't think it is possible for a human brain to really grasp. We got to figure that out. I don't think it's possible for the human brain to really grasp the. I bet Sarah's phone died.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay, all right. The concept of time, evolutionary time, like the scale of evolutionary time is just so long. A million years. It's just. It's like we want to think that like evolution is happening in times that we can understand, like something like, well, since now there's all this fast food in McDonald's and everybody's getting fat, then in about 10 or 15 years we should start evolving ways to, we'll see people evolving that have better metabolism of that stuff, and it doesn't work anywhere near on that kind of scale, I think. All right, let's read some more of this chat. We're super behind. Geez. How much to clone a Jessa minus attitude? God! To throw in my sweatshop doing repairs for free. $1 million. All right. Artificial sweeteners are also useful for determining the amount of urine in pools. Huh? 2 cartons. Yeah, okay. Given the evidence of our history, the question might be better is, have we stopped changing? Is the rate of change comparable?
No.
What do you think about that? Have we...
No, I don't see why we would... The minute we stop change, or if we slow down our rate of change, we actually become more susceptible as a species rather than less. And I think one, backbone of evolution is that you need variation in your population to have at least some subset of your population be able to survive a changing environment.
Yes. All right. All right, I'm going to look at your camera next. Let's scroll a little bit. Since they're not metabolized, they pass through, and the only way they could get there is pee in your pool. Okay, that's interesting. So Aaron E. is suggesting that you can test for NutraSweet in your pool because unless mommy was opening up Splenda packets and dumping them in the deep end, the only way that you're gonna get these unmetabolized artificial sweetener molecules is through piss. I haven't heard that. Sounds sounds plausible. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm like, so urine is sterile and it's just urea. So getting too worked up about pee in your pool is
silly. Yeah, there's nothing different really between urine and sweat. It's definitely gonna be sweaty in there. Yeah, I don't really get the whole thing about why everybody's grossed out by pee, but I like the concept there about your urine tester. All right. Could Foxconn genetically engineer humans to have increasingly smaller hands so they can assemble iPhones easier? Yes. Check back in maybe, I don't know, 10 million years. We might be able to get it done in 5. I'm not sure. And we'll let you know. But I think we're all going to, I honestly think that things like climate change and our failure to recognize that, things like just simple overpopulation and competition for resources, that the human species is like so far screwed. I think we're all going to be dead due to famine and war way before any of this shit matters. I think, there's I mean, you can see the rumbling thunder clouds on the horizon already, that nobody can get along with anybody else. This shit's going down, definitely.
So if smaller hands are better for iDevice repair, does this mean this is like a future career path for Trump?
Yeah, he'd be good at it, I think. We'll see. All right, so your ear speaker.
That would be better than genetic whatever you were to iPhone repair as president to iPhone repair.
Wait, what?
Like you going from I don't know what your actual title was before we did this. What was your title?
My job?
Yes.
Dr. Jones, professor of biology or some kind of shit like that.
So that to iPhone repair is very impressive. People are always impressed with that story, that you've decided to choose this. But I think Trump, if he went from president to owning his own iPhone repair place, he might knock it off the board.
Really?
I think that's a greater.
You think it's a better story?
Yeah.
I agree.
Are you aware of a president having any job ever?
No, but there's some water damage on your microphone. So you were saying that people were saying that they couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
That's your microphone. And that is hot tub disease. All right, let's clean that off. Very minor though. All right. Let's see. There was an issue raised over here in Australia a couple of weeks ago concerning this. I feel we should love and cherish the Down syndrome children we have, but if we have the ability to stop it, we should. That's a tough old bag of worms that you opened up there, Charlie Clement. Should we stop having Downs kids? What do you think, Sarah?
I think that this is a choice. So back when I did direct a laboratory in which we would diagnose this in utero,
did you ever talk to the patients?
Information, it's information, and then it's information back to that person for them to make a choice that I would not
attempt to judge. Whoa. Yeah, I don't think you can, I mean, we can, we absolutely have the ability to stop having children with any trisomy. But I think that's kind of a right at the level of the individual parents. I don't think that you can, mandate somebody's choice like that. I wouldn't be a fan of that.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of, I think it's hard in some cases to know what you would do until you're in that situation. I think, in a lot of cases, these are wanted pregnancies.
Right.
And then there's, and so I'm not going to go into it. I never had to personally deal with it. But I can't imagine that anything about that decision is easy.
Right. Would you have had a Down child?
That would be a hard one for me to even answer.
Yeah.
Honestly, because again, you could think, well, I have a lot of information, and you can sit here in a situation where you're actually not having to make that choice,
right, and
say you would do. But my pregnancies were really wanted pregnancies,
right?
And if the diagnosis had come back that this child is going to have X, Y, or Z, it would be. I think there's a part of me that would have to have that information before I'm absolutely certain how I would deal with that information.
I would definitely not have a Down's child.
Yeah, I know you and I had this conversation back when you were pregnant.
We did?
And back when your genetic results weren't even in yet.
Yeah, I was absolutely in the camp that I was not going to you know, kind of put a hardship and blessings. I get that, you know, but I was not going to put, you know, kind of really just a resources question. There's only so many resources to go around, and if you have 2 kids already and you're having another 2 kids, that if those 2 kids require I mean, they're already fucking twins. You know, if they are going to also be twins with special needs that are going to require even more resources, I wasn't willing to ask my existing current children to pick up the tab for that. So there was no question. I would absolutely, and because, you know, it's easy in my mind with early, very, very early knowledge and, you know, early information, which is what's great about genetics, that to me it's easy to consider. You know, like I talk about this with Lewis a lot because he's very opposed to the idea of any kind of, you know, pregnancy termination. And I am very pro that. So, you know, I see it as a wet bag of chromosomes. He sees it as a person. And, you know, it's been something we debate about a lot. All right, let's get this screw in here. And scroll down in chat. Get back on there, you screw. Just want to get that in there a little bit so that I can let go. All right, let's move that over. Alrighty. Okay, that's kind of held on there. Good morning, says Cormac Piper. It'll be a laugh if Mason was fine all along. Oh, I'm sure Mason was. Sarah, what are the chances of a 48-year-old with 100% genetically flawed genes getting your phone number? Wink, wink, says Wayne. God bless it. I don't know what to tell you, Wayne. Why don't you fly on? Here's what you can do. You can hunt Sarah down on LinkedIn, or you can hunt her down on in Utah. You can fly on over to Utah and go hunt her down. I think she'll be easy to find. All right. Let's see. Can't wait to read that in the police report. That's really funny. All right. I thought instead of Bonobo, you said Lenovo computers. That's really funny.
That's what I thought you said too.
Wayne, by the way, further increasing his mate selection criteria. Wayne says that he realizes that he is part bonobo. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. All right. Paul Daniel says, I learned about bonobos in some random movie with Kurt Russell, I think, some prison drug movie. Oh, prison and drug. Why do the bonobo culture you have to throw in there with prison and drugs just because they like to fuck the FedEx guy all the time? Come on. All right, let's see. Did the stream just die? I don't think so. Let's see. Hi, iPad Rehab. I saw an article, not sure if it's true or not, but now they can create a mugshot just from your DNA strand. I would go with not true. A mugshot? No way. I mean, look at my,
Okay,
you know, what do you think?
Okay, I don't think we're there yet, but I do think that we are getting. Sorry, my daughter just walked in, and she's just finished her project. All right.
Tell her to come over here and speak some Chinese. Ooh.
No, it's my other daughter.
Oh.
She's really good. But you guys want to meet Charlotte?
Yeah, Charlotte, what up?
All right. Let's see who in your community can name this cosplay character.
What character is it? From what? Okay, let's see. All right, let's see what chat says. No, chat has to. You have to give chat like a little bit of a delay for them to see. All right, let's see. They're still talking about like my identical twin girls. Who is this character there? I'm gonna go with Wendy from Peter Pan. That's what I think. Am I wrong? Yeah.
It's just Pocahontas, isn't it? What's the garbage?
Zelda. Aaron E says Zelda. Is he right?
Yep.
Well, way to go, Aaron E. Aaron E. First guess.
Okay, so Charlotte's super talented. She doesn't just buy these; she makes these. So she bought a blue T-shirt.
Wow.
And then did using one of those like gel bleach pens. Drew in the design.
Wow.
And then other fabric paint for the shirt underneath. Cut this and then did the leather lacing herself.
That's pretty sweet, man. Good job. So, Charlotte, is this going to be your phone? We're trying to make it.
Hopefully.
We're trying to make it not. It only had a tiny bit of water damage on a microphone, and we're trying to fix it all up. Which really, I should just send it back to you for you to put together, I think. But I'll be nice. I'll do it this one time. Next screen change is going to be all you. All right, so we're going to lift this off. All right. There we go. Oh, look, there is a tiny bit of water right here at the home button, but not very much. All right, let's open this up. Okay, yes, I once created a mugshot from suspect using DNA. I mean, I don't really get that. Like, when I look at my identical twin girls, they, you know, they're, in my opinion, they look pretty different. No? So it's like, no, they don't. They're exact. No, they're not. They're
so
totally
we can
different.
do little things like we can predict, what eye color you're likely to have, whether or not you're more likely to have like a unibrow or
Okay.
Independent brows, things like that. So you could, but again, would that be a mugshot or would that be further narrowing a pool of suspects?
Okay. Yeah. All right. That makes sense. You could certainly tell ethnicity.
Yeah.
That would be a big one.
If it came back that it was,
Oh, look at that home button.
that we can add to this. No, just
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. All right. I'll buy that. All right. Let's see. Then Wayne says,
So-
well, it was a finger painted mugshot using his blood, but technically that's still DNA. Okay. All
if
right.
you had a fingerprint
Okay.
and it'd be at that point.
All right. Evolution rate will increase or slight de-evolution because advancement ruling out survival of the fittest. More mutations in the gene pool mutation. Whoa, Astro Man, that's a whole lot of language barrier you got going on.
Okay, I think he's pointing out the idea of like, Jessa, for you,
Yeah.
your eyesight is so bad without glasses.
Yes.
That you probably without glasses wouldn't have made it to the point of being able to reproduce.
You're so blind.
She said, "I'm too blind to fuck." That's what she said. Okay, well, I don't know if that's true because I don't think I told you this. Guess what happened when Jeff went to Wyoming to see the eclipse? Calls me up, and this is like just a couple weeks ago. This is like this week. So he calls me up and he says, "I have to go. This is really bad. I have to go to the emergency room." "Why? What happened?" And he's like, "Something's in my eye. It's like my eye's all swollen and it feels like something's in it, and I couldn't sleep all night long." So he goes to the eye doctor there in Wyoming, and they went to see the eclipse at at Grandma's like cabin with an outhouse place. And while he's there, Betsy and Maisie are like, "We know what's going on here," because of their favorite show, Monsters Inside Me. Don't ever watch that, So they watch this show. They love it. Monsters Inside Me, with all these like weird diagnoses and stuff. Yes, parasites. Are we streaming? Is something transferring? Because this frame rate is pretty bad right now. Like, we need to stop any kind of like anything that's like doing that like network solution. Anyway, they're like, "We know what's wrong with Dad." "What is it?" And they fucking correctly picked this. He probably has like an amoeba in his eyeball, which is like gross. That's disgusting. So he gets to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Oh, holy shit! If you, I really shouldn't have blown you off and told you not to come in last night. Now that I see how fucked up your eye is." And he's, "What do you think it is?" He's like, "Well, let's see. I mean, it could be bacterial, it could be fungal, but I don't know. I kind of feel like it's an amoeba." So Jeff has fucking an amoeba in his eye, and has for like two or 3 weeks. Oh, this is horrible. This week he wears glasses, and he has one eye is just all amoeba'd out. Can't even see through it at all. The other eye. And he's on call. He has to go see patients like this. And the other eye, he fucking breaks his glasses. So in the morning, he's just like, he was all so laid back, He's like, "All right, can you fix these for me?" And I'm like, "Well, let's see. Oh, that looks like an iPhone screw." He's like, No, I gotta go right now. You need like a twist tie and some duct tape." And I'm like, "No, man." So I'm like, "All right." So I could not get a screw that would fit there. So he's like, "Just let me do it." So he's all amoeba blind, and he takes this fucking wire and some fucking duct tape, and he like makes something that he can see so he can drive to work so that he can go see patients to deliver like end of life decisions. Like, what would you think if the doctor comes in like all squinty eyed with duct tape glasses, and they're like, I have some really bad news about your dad. He's had a terrible stroke." Just like, "And I think we should put him on comfort care. I'm really sorry." So yeah. So anyway, the idea that I would have been left on the sidelines, I think I still could have met old amoeba-eyed blind Jeff. Might have worked out. Still had the same kids. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who knows? All right.
So they confirmed it's an amoeba.
Wait, Wayne Taylor says, "Wait, Sarah's in Utah? Isn't that like the Mormon state where blokes can have several wives?" I'm there with my bonobo genes. I don't know about you, Wayne. A, that's terribly insensitive. You know that Sarah is a member of the LDS Church, formerly. So you really shouldn't be talking like that. And no, that's not cool anymore. That was only cool back when the Mormon dudes were in Rochester. Have you seen the Book of Mormon?
Oh no, actually, but
Oh my God! You need to get up right now. Stop what you're doing. Take off work tomorrow and go see. That's the funniest fucking thing that there is. Oh my God, it's my favorite. We sit here and play.
Have you actually seen it?
Huh?
Have you actually seen it?
Yeah, man, in London.
I kind of feel like I've seen it at this point, but I've never heard the soundtrack.
Yeah, I play the soundtrack constantly. It is my favorite thing. Totally inappropriate. Don't take the kids. But absolutely hilarious. I don't know. Would you take your kids, Christy, to see Book of Mormon?
No. No.
Really? I kind of would take Bailey.
I would feel dirty going to see it myself.
I'm gonna fuck you in the ass, rape you. Like, no.
Give you my AIDS.
I'll give you my AIDS. It's funny.
Fucking babies.
Yeah, oh, raping babies technically, but okay, fine.
Raping babies. I'm sorry, that makes it much better.
All right. Whoa. Greg M says several cases of flesh-eating disease here, and people have lost several limbs. Yeah. Well,
Don't tell Jeff.
I won't bring that up. Yeah. I mean, the funniest thing about it all is that Betsy and Maisie were like, "It's probably gonna be one of them amoebas in his eye," which is.
Did you see the drawing up front?
What drawing up
I
front?
wonder where it went.
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna go see if it's still up there.
What drawing?
The drawing of, like, eyeballs.
Who drew eyeballs?
I don't know. I thought they were breasts, and it turned out they were just eyeballs, so.
Well, do share, please. All right, we're coming down the home stretch here on this screen. All right. Okay. All right. This one travels up through the sinuses and crosses the blood-brain barrier. Yeah, so you can see all kinds of things like that if you watch Monsters Inside Me, which is another terribly inappropriate show for 6-year-old young impressionable girls. But they love it, but every single episode it's like, this will, never happen to you. This is really rare. It'll never, you don't have to worry about any of that, and then, oh gee, dad's got a fucking amoeba. So they don't know for sure that it is the amoeba. But they don't know what it is. So he's basically being treated for all of them. Actually, that's not true. They said they've ruled out a lot of things, and so he had to get the amoeba swab like the other day because it's not responding to all kinds of stuff. And they said, yeah, with amoebas it's really rare, but you got to be really sure, because the treatment is so horrible. You really need to be sure. Guess what the treatment is for amoebas in the eye?
Just like that said like something about amoeba on it.
That is a man staring at someone's tits that says, "Feast your eyes."
What?
That was what I thought when I looked at it
That is
the
what
first
that
time.
is.
And then it said, they must have been doing a whole series of them because the one that I saw said.
That was their cover-up,
Said
so that you wouldn't think that was titties, because that's titties.
Let me see.
So that's titties. Feast your eyes.
Where is this piece of paper coming from?
Your children.
My children?
So it wasn't, maybe it was like this.
There was one that was just like that, but it said amoeba on it. Apparently, that was their cover story.
Feast your eyes, squish. Feast your eyes, like eat your eyes?
No, feast your eyes on this.
No, my kids don't even know what tits are. Look at this. This is.
I looked down on the computer yesterday, and the last thing they looked was large breasts crushing watermelons. That was the last thing they searched.
Your girls?
I don't know. So one of the
Can Ford spell breasts?
No, he would have had to have the girls make it.
And would they?
Yes, of course. He also got a report the other day at the playground, not at school, but the playground at the park, that he was calling everyone dick butts.
Dick butts?
Dick butts. Mm-hmm.
That's not really a thing.
No, it's not.
This is signed by Molly Marie. This is totally LaMonica, not my problem. Yeah, and look, it says Andrew LaMonica right on the front of it.
It says that, but it's been sitting up on the front table, and
Other kids are ready.
other kids have been
Kids
using it.
definitely made a movie picture.
No way. I don't believe it. All right, let's see if... All right, I think this screen is back on. All right, let's see what happens if we plug it back in. All right, so people are guessing at the amoeba treatment. Needle in the eye. Needle in the eye. Close. It's chlorine bleach in the eye. Chlorine bleach in the eye is the treatment.
The
Which...
internet told me it was a needle in the eye every 10 minutes.
Wait, what? You thought it was a needle in the eye? No.
That's what the internet said.
Oh, no. No, 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 no. He said it's basically chlorine bleach in your eyeball.
Well, that's because it's not really an amoeba.
Huh? Yeah, if it's in the amoeba, that's how you get. That's the only way to get the amoeba out. It's too similar to your cells. That's another good reason for genetics, to identify things like differences between bacterial cells and human cells, so that you can target bacterial cells and make new antibiotics and stuff like that. Amazing stuff. All right. Brings new meaning to the term eye bleach. Would you like your eye whites denatured, soft or hard? All right. It's getting late. We got to wrap this up. Let's see if this phone works. I mean, it worked to begin with, so let's just make sure it still works. So either way, I think this is deemed totally fine, but we're gonna just check on this. Oh, I'm doing general repair. Christy, help.
What are you?
I have to put a phone back together all by myself in front of a whole bunch of people. All right. Okay. So, Sarah, about how far into this video were you like, okay, I'm not going to be able to let Kate watch this? Jessa has said fuck way too many times.
She's been on bed.
All right, let's see. Yeah, my channel is not, it's not very PC or PG. All right. Let's get this back in here. So Sam, I need some household and wife tips. Sam put some microwave popcorn in today. He used the small bag, set the microwave for like 5 minutes, and then went to the basement. And the whole house reeks of throw your microwave away burnt popcorn, which is a total disaster. And how do you make your house not like smell like you need to call the fire department?
It's called, what is it called?
Wait, do you know a solution?
There's the stuff you can spray. They sell it in the dollar store in these ozone.
This is gonna suck when this doesn't work here. As YouTube would say, non-advertiser friendly. That's really funny with the YouTube non-advertiser friendly that I have not had anything demonetized or anything from any of that. Although, I mean, one of my videos, it says horror in the title, and you know, that's all. YouTube's like, fine. All right, let's see. So touch is working so far. We're gonna see if we can get past this. Let's see. That is a very difficult smell to remove. Good luck. Yeah, it really sucks because Sarah, what's your carrier? Your
Verizon?
Verizon. Okay. All right. I want to just get this past activation so that I can make sure that it doesn't have any dead spots. Huh? Osium. That's like the stuff my dad had in 1983 in the bathroom.
Yeah, so you use it, it comes up cigarette smoke smell.
Ah. You know what? Osium smells like? Poopery.
Yeah, they have an orange one. It actually does get rid of the smoke smell.
Well, I figured we should just move. It's just too depressing. Like, I stayed home.
Which house is this?
Langpap house. I stayed home and cleaned that house for like 5. Oh, good. Your fingerprint sensor is still working. Yay. Like 5 days in a row. And like everything was all fresh, like, washed the comforters like nuts, and now And now, ruined. All right, let's see. Don't add passcode for now. Set up his new phone. Damn, it's really fucking late. All right.
I've been working for like a half hour. I'm just sitting here listening to you, like a bedtime story.
Like a bedtime story. And then the amoeba in his eyeball. All right. Okay, we are almost done here. Don't share with Apple. Choose a view. Here we
Stay long
go.
enough for the text messages.
Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, so here we go. So we have touch, and let's check for any kind of dead spots, and then we'll call that touch working. So hit continue. Not now. All right. Let's do a colorful picture like this. All right, so I'm going across the screen like that to test to see if there's any dead spots. All right, so no dead spots. Touch made it's weird, the green screen turns into weird colors, but you know, touch is working as normal. Can't really see it for green screen. All right, so touch is working. I think that either the screen or the Mason chip that we changed would have definitely been the problem. So I don't think you're going to have any problem with this again. And Wayne Taylor says, Sarah, you were obviously at the top of the gene pool. Just to know. Greg M has a deodorant for us to try. Aaron says Febreze and dryer sheets over the vents. All right, that's a good idea. I think YouTube is picking on white males with a demonetization. Everyone loves to hate privilege, I guess. All right, so that is it. So we have fixed Sarah's water damaged phone, and we've done a little bit of genetics talk, and we've definitely proved that we can kind of do it, some kind of interviewee stuff or YouTube live experience. So we'll see if it makes sense to try to do more of that in the future. And let's get rid of my microscope thing. Where is it? All right, so there we go. All right. Okay, so that is all we are going to do today. So thank you guys that watched, and thanks especially to Sarah. Your phone is fixed. We will put this, but it's got some screws that need to go in the logic board that Sharon has, and then we will be mailing it back to beautiful, bountiful Utah. And then it will complete the Zelda costume for sure. So thanks for hanging with us, and we will see you guys next time. Can we make Sarah a regular, says Wayne. God bless America.